Okay. Hey. Yeah. I'm. Yeah. That's gonna work. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. Well, that's my bad. Hold on. Okay. Let me know if you guys are hearing anything. You probably won't hear any. I don't know if you're gonna hear any sound. Let me know if you hear me though. I see what happened. This is gonna look a little weird. I definitely know what happened. Uh, I feel really stupid, but let me see. Is it play? Okay, live. Let me know if you guys hear anything. Let me make sure you guys are listening. I didn't mean for this to start so late. Um, I feel really idiotic right now about what happened. So what you guys are watching, um, with me talking right now in front of it, what you guys are watching, you're watching a recorded version of my stream. I didn't talk. I didn't actually stream anything. I recorded it. I was wondering why I was not getting too much people because they were coming in and it was just constantly saying the stream is starting. You're getting like, I guess you were just getting starting soon and stuff like that. I don't know what you were actually seeing. No wonder I wasn't getting people to come into the stream. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this play out. Okay, so my thumbnail just popped up. I'm just not going to let any music play or anything. I'm just going to let this all play out. So, welcome to the really late stream that I've already done for an hour because I thought I was recording. I really hate the way this thing is set up because it really made it look like I was recording. But, so yeah, this is the stream. So what you're going to be watching, like I said, you're watching a pre-recorded version of my old stream. Let me know if it's actually playing any of the actual audio. If I'm like are you hearing two versions? Because I can't hear anything on my end. I think this is. Yeah, no, I don't hear anything. Yeah, no, I have it muted, so you can't hear anything of my stream. So I'm just gonna talk over it then. I'm just gonna do for a nice. As long as it worked, you can see the time bar. I went for a good hour, but I can re-talk over this stuff because it'll be easy and I can skip ahead to other things where it got too much. So, and it's not going to be the best quality because we're watching. I don't know if I can change the setting or anything, but let me see if I could change it to a better setting. Yeah, no, it's only going to be 360. I guess just because the stream is so old. I guess just because it's capturing on an actual capture. Apologies for that, but it's not that big of a deal. So, yeah, so this is the actual stream I was trying to do with the recording. You might hear my dog in the background. He's very fidgety. But this is the stream. I'm talking right now about what I did with the video. So apologies for being gone for so long. A lot of things happened. When I got a new computer, I got a bunch of the new trial site things got loaded on when I redid stuff, and all the trial things had to run out, and I had to rebuy it or re-download everything. That's really what happened a lot. So that's why you can see my video thing is a lot different than how it used to look. It's well, I can't move my mouse because you see two mouses and you're gonna see the thing. But it is Movie Studio 16 Platinum instead of 13 Platinum because I had to get the new version, and I got it for a good deal. So that's why that's like that. Jeez, I can't talk because I'm so used to talking about what's going on this stream, but I can't do it, and I don't want to play the audio that I played here because it's just me rambling about like, oh, no one's saying anything, there's no one in the chat. Did I do something wrong? Because that was the issue, I guess, that happened with the last one. Because I didn't have too many people talking in the chat for the Kingdom Hearts stream, but I think that's just because something. I guess it was just a bad night. So I went back. So what I worked on is I worked on some end gags during the supposed stream I just did. So what you're gonna see is I worked on. So what I did while I was gone though is I finished the actual sins part of Fall of Sunset Shimmer. Everything, all the sins are done. I still need to do the sentence, and I need to finish the end gags. I didn't finish it completely on my supposed stream I did before. So I'm just gonna roll with that now. And so what I'm doing now is this is a scene of Celestia's opening Twilight's bedroom door. It's the same. It's in the beginning of Fall of Sunset Shimmer, and we're going to put something in front of the bedroom door. And what I do now is I need to erase the sides of each of. I need to erase the sides because I cut out the inside of the bedroom, and for erasing the sides, I need to make sure it looks nice. There's not too much, and I'm gonna mess up. That's a good part. I guess I could skip ahead for when I mess up. And so what I'm doing with it is I'm gonna put Verko. If you've seen the MLP movie, you remember him. He captures the ponies, and I'm just gonna have him slide into frame and be like, do his "here's Verko" thing. And that's just the end gag. And in order to do that properly, what I'm pointing at here is there's a little bit of, I don't even know why I'm using my secondary mouse. There's a little bit of the door frame scene on the side, and that is what I'm going to clean up now. So I'm going to put Verko in. He's going to come in, jump into frame, and be like, here's Verko. And that's what I was going to do with that one. So I take the time to erase right here, and so I'll keep going with the stuff just to kind of catch you guys up on what's going on. Hello, Ash Hart and her fans. I don't know how many fans are here, but hello to Ash Hart. So what's going on? Like I said, what you're watching, it's the reason the quality's so terrible. You're watching a recording, because I thought I streamed an hour ago. I didn't. I recorded my stream. I wasn't actually streaming. So there's that. So that's what happened. That's why it took so long to actually come in stream. I feel like a really big idiot. I've messed up streams before where I had no audio or anything. I had no video or actually no. I've always had video. That's a positive. I've always had video, but I've messed up where I had no audio. That's no longer there. I deleted that one and I redid it. But I'm such an amateur when it comes to streaming. Hopefully I'll get better at it. And that's one thing I wanted to announce. So hopefully I'll finish Fall of Sunset Shimmer. I'll finish it tonight. I'll get it all done. And if I don't get it done, I'm gonna get it done tomorrow morning, and I'm gonna upload it later during the day tomorrow. And then for that to celebrate the finishing of Fall of Sunset Shimmer, the Sins video, I'm gonna do a little gaming stream. Since the Kingdom Hearts gaming stream, it wasn't amazing. I didn't have too many people come in and anything. I sound like your favorite Minecraft builder. I have such an indistinct voice. And I was just doing. Jeez. The problem is I'm remembering everything I'm saying in this stream. In this recording. I'm sorry. And I don't want to play the recording because, again, it's just me rambling to no one. Because now I know people are actually listening, and not just me rambling to a recording. Is also why I couldn't do Let's Plays, because I can't I just ramble on. That's what I do like about the streaming thing. I've actually heard that's what's really nice with the chat is people are actually listening. People are there's people you can talk to. Obviously, I'm on a 30-second delay because of the way YouTube works. But I know if I ask something, I'll eventually get a response. So here I'm going to jump back into the actual video. What is happening here is in order to make Verko appear in the doorway convincingly. Obviously, I don't want to just pop him into frame. I cut him out. and I spent a really long time cutting him out, so that's good, is I can fast forward to all the nonsense through that. Am I super tired? No, I'm not super tired. It's not that late for me. I stay up pretty late, but I probably should drink something because I've been talking for almost 2 hours straight now. But I'll be fine. So what I'm doing with Verko is I'm going to try and cut him out, just his body. Want to get rid of any background. This is a lot of times how I will do the vectors of cutting out the background. Is I will do make a little outline of the outside, and then I will erase around that outside. I try to use the magic eraser, which is what I'm using now, and it will delete the certain color that it touches, and then maybe some of the surrounding color depending on the tolerance, which I'm fixing at the bottom there, and that is why and then I explain, like, if you put it at 0 tolerance, it only takes away a pixel. Because it only focuses on the color, and then the more tolerance you put on it, the more surrounding colors it can grab. So that's that. I usually stay up till around 1 a.m. sometimes. I wouldn't say I would say I stay up till around midnight. Luckily, I don't work tomorrow. Which is why I'm going to try to finish the video and do a gaming stream tomorrow, because I don't work. I do work Sunday though. If the gaming stream goes well, maybe I'll do it after work on Sunday. I think I've mentioned this before. I do have another job than YouTube. It's why YouTube is not a huge main priority in my life. But yeah, my real job is that I have work. I work 5 days a week, so that definitely takes up a lot of time, and it's why it is part of the reason why I stopped streaming for a little bit. I guess I can explain that while I'm doing that, because I didn't explain that at all during this recording, because I was just so busy trying to explain what I'm doing with the cutting and stuff, but I just am erasing and just rambling the entire time. So the big reason why I wasn't streaming so much is I wasn't having a lot of time to, because I would work and then I'd get home and I would just be really tired. And then I know I'd have to set stuff up and I had to do all this stuff. And a lot of the times I just felt I wasn't getting a lot done during the streams, at least for certain parts of the video. I wanted to do certain parts just by myself, being able to go back and listen to stuff. Have a good night, Ash. Thanks for coming in at least and talking about it. When you have no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, he was probably back when I was explaining the thing. But yeah, so that's what I was saying, is like that's really the big reason why I wasn't streaming too much. I didn't feel like I was doing much during the streams. And I hated stopping just abruptly. And just working off it by myself. I probably should have at least put out a Twitter thing about why it was. I'm just really bad with that kind of thing. But I'm going to try and get back into it. I do have the next video planned. Don't want to spoil it yet. Because I haven't talked to the original person. If anyone knows anything that came out this month, you might know what I'm going to do. Actually, I might not do that one next. I might find a little smaller one, because this next one is a much bigger project. But that definitely is what I want to do. I definitely do have the next one in mind. So once this comes out tomorrow, I'll be doing that. But I want to do a gaming stream tomorrow too, just to celebrate. Hey, I finally got this done after a month. And speaking of which, that's also why the thumbnail looks like it does now. Because in my streaming lore, I locked Pinky, Starlight, and Sunset in a room to finish the editing, and they've been in there for a whole month, and they grew facial hair. I was gonna make them. I was gonna edit them to make them like really skinny, but that I didn't want to make it too cruel, because that's pink abuse or glimmer abuse or shimmer abuse, whatever those abuse tags are. But yeah, so that's pretty much what happened and what's been happening. So like I said, so back to this actual video. that you're watching of the pre-recorded stream. I'm just erasing Verko because in order to make him slide into frame really well, I want to make sure he doesn't have he's not too jagged on the sides. Obviously, I got to get rid of that background that came up from cutting him out. So that's what I'm doing here. I'll probably skip ahead because I cut him out for a really long time, and I probably will stay streaming for. I'm not certain. I definitely think I'll stay live for a good. Trying to think how long should I stay live? I've already going for 15 minutes. Maybe I'll go 30 minutes. I won't go the full hour that I did before, since it's just wearing on me since I've already talked for an hour. But I'll definitely explain everything I was doing because that was a lot. I was having fun with doing that. So like I said, I was cleaning him up, and what the biggest thing is doing this kind of cleanup thing because. If any of you ever, or I don't know, what kind of like art, I might be talking to some artists out there. I've definitely spoken to artists that comment in my comment section, but I don't know how many of you actually do vectors of like show characters or any characters, not even of My Little Pony, might be vectors of just stuff in general. I know a lot of people that do vectors, they will like either cut out the vector, and a lot of times you can do that. It might not look the best, or they'll redraw it. They'll pretty much trace over the vector and remake it. So I'm doing the first option is I'm just erasing around Verko to make a vector. If I want to make something really nice that you're going to see really well, I will redraw it. Oh, excuse me. I will redraw it because my rule of thumb for the prettiness of the image that I make in Photoshop is if it's going to be on screen for more than 3 seconds, I want to make it look nice, because it will definitely draw your eye more for the longer it's on screen. But if it's only on screen for 3 seconds, you're not gonna notice the little details. I mean, unless you want to nitpick it, which anyone's free to do. I absolutely say if anyone wants to ever nitpick my videos, they're free to do it. I was only capable of doing vectors. Well, that's good. You at least have. Always good to have a good starting point with your art. But definitely a good thing. Oh, with redrawing it, you were only capable of doing redraw. Okay, I see, Emily. So. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I've seen people redraw it. Well, and redrawing it makes it look nicer, too. Because you can get a lot smoother. And again, and a lot of people use tablets, and instead of me, who's using a keyboard and mouse to do stuff in Photoshop. Because if they use tablets, they can use a stylus, which gives you more freedom with your hand. And you can definitely draw things a lot better with your hand than with a mouse, because a mouse usually only moves in so many directions and stuff. But yeah, so that's about as much as I know about vectors, and I'm not even an animator or an artist of. Well, that's not true. You can always say you're not an artist, but as long as you're actually making something, you can consider it art. So this is just me finishing up erasing him. So what I will usually do is I will erase like really close to the image I'm trying to do, and then give a nice little outline, and then I can just use a bigger eraser and just erase a lot bigger. And if anyone is just joining me of why the video may look really, really low resolution, it's because you're watching a recording of my stream that I thought I was doing an hour ago, which is why the stream started so late, because I wasn't actually streaming, I was recording it. Anyway, what do I think my best work to date is? Either Sins video wise, Turnabout Storm, that's my favorite, and video wise, Smile HD Stupidly Censored. That is probably my favorite. That's probably my favorite video that I've actually done. It feels the most original, even though it's not. I guess really if I'd say original video, that would be the video I made on the My Little Pony book that I found at a store. If you haven't seen that, it's a little long video, and it's not really that important. It was just really fun to edit, and that's what the video was. It was just for me to have a lot of fun with editing, and just doing crazy stuff with it. That's probably one of my favorite things I did. But most proud, Turnabout Storm, Sins video-wise, Smile HD, non-Sins video-wise. Just because, like, Smile HD is pretty much going to be my magnum opus for this channel. Unless I do something, like, incredible, I don't think my channel is ever going to be known for anything more than Smile HD. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with people knowing me for censoring Smile. They probably don't even know it's me. Probably when they're like, oh, I've seen the censoring of Smile HD. Who's it by? I have no idea. But that's fine. But yeah, that's probably my proudest work. Ending soon. Will I be doing anything G5 related in the future? G5 related, I think if I didn't talk about this before, I'm going to watch G5. Don't know if I'm going to be actually doing too much. Unless, like, I may be doing, like, if I find anything worthy of, like, analysis that, like, in, like, the same terms as I analyzed Diamond Tiara and Starlight, I might do something like that, but I'm not going to do, like, reviews or anything. Or if fans make G5-related animations, I might do something like that. But I'm pretty much still going to stick with my fan animations and occasional analysis videos and stuff. But I only really analyze stuff that people aren't talking too much about, or that you don't see too much of the side. Because with Diamond Tiara, it was like you weren't seeing a lot of people defending her. It was always people like saying, I think when I originally did that Diamond Tiara video, the only one, if you typed in Diamond Tiara analysis, you got, what was his name? Give and Take? I think his name was Give and Take. He had the only video about Diamond Tiara that was positive. A lot of people had a lot that, like, of just, like, how terrible she was and all that stuff. Or you could just find other things out there. But that was the only one you could find that was positive. Any predictions or thoughts that happen in G5 or even characters that might appear? Main 6 and Spike. No idea really what they have planned for G5. I'm staying kind of away from the spoilers. I've seen the concept art, but that was like with the leaks and stuff. But I'm just gonna, like, when it comes to spoilers, I'll just let it come, and I'll just let it go, because it's the same thing with, like, G4 right now. I don't know anything, like, with the last seasons and stuff, I don't know anything except for synopses for any of the upcoming episodes. I haven't watched any of the early airings, like the one that aired early in, what was it, Italy? I think, because technically the new episode that airs tomorrow has already aired in Italy, and I think people already have, like, dubs of it. But I never watched it. I wait till they air in the US, where I am. Probably where most of my viewers are. I don't know how much of I doubt I really get too much of a wide audience. But any predictions for in general? Probably not. Mostly because, well, see, my big prediction is there's not really anything to, like, latch onto. Because I feel they're just it is a reboot. It is a new generation. So they're not going to, like, the Twilight that they put in there isn't the same Twilight at all that is G4 and stuff. So, I would love to see if they put Starlight in. But it's not going to be Kelly Sheridan's Starlight. So there's really nothing, like, it's just her design is really all I'd be attached to. And I'm not even that big attached to the design. It's really just the character that they created. So, obviously, if it's not her character, I have not that big of a deal. Or if they put Sweetie Belle in, if they're going to give Rarity a little sister and they put Sweetie Belle in, that'd be nice, but it's not Claire. So, that's really what gets me that's really what gets me attached to the characters, is I get attached to the voices, the acting, and all that stuff. And if you're giving new actors, and I know they're going to give new actors to these characters, it's not going to feel the same. and it's not gonna, and I don't need it to feel the same. I'm actually glad it's not gonna feel the same. So really, there's no big predictions. It would be nice to see if maybe we get like new stuff. I do know what I'm doing right now. What I'm doing now is I'm actually checking. So, because like I said, I had the stuff recording, and what it would do is it was recording on the preview screen. Because if you've ever streamed before, it shows you a preview screen, and it shows you what the audience would see if you were live. And I was trying to check to see if my recording was working. You're probably going to see Starlight pop up, which is when I use her for... so you don't... Yep, there she is. So you don't see anything in the background, but yeah. But this is just me trying to check the audio, and I tried checking it. It seemed to be working fine, but again, I didn't realize I was recording and not streaming. So I'm a dingus. Have I ever had an idea that I wish would happen in the show? Yes, I have had two. I've shared this with several people. One was almost to fruition. They kind of did it in season 9, but they didn't do it to the way I kind of wanted it. If any of you have seen season 9, episode 7 this season was called "She's All Yak." It was about Yona getting dressed up. This is just me checking the stream. I'm checking to make sure all these channels are working. But like I was saying, it was about Yona getting all dressed up for this little dance that they're having, and they go through like a My Fair Lady kind of thing. I wanted them to do a My Fair Lady kind of episode, but I wanted it to be called My Fair Pinky because I wanted them to do it with Pinky. What I had in mind is I wanted Pinky to I might make, like, if I really get into like fan fiction writing, I might make this into a fanfic just because I had this so fleshed out. It starts off where Pinky, or the cakes are doing are getting to the catering business, like into expensive catering business. Like they start catering for like fancy clients and stuff, and in order to do that they need a deliverer. So in order to do that, Pinky needs to go to these fancy parties and actually, like, be good with the parties and stuff. So, in order to do that, she asks Rarity to help her so that she can come off fancy and not be, like, too overzealous, like, too much of her party pony self. Rarity does it. They do a song, like My Fair Lady, like they did with the Yona episode. And Pinky but this is like the middle of the episode. Pinky goes, and it works. She's perfect. All the caterers love her, and what ends up happening is the caterers love that she's so sophisticated, so well behaved. They hire the cakes more. They keep giving the cakes more business for all this catering business. But what ends up happening is Pinky doesn't like who she's become. She's not having fun with it anymore. But the dilemma comes with, does she admit that she doesn't like what she's doing and ruin the cake's fruitious business, or does she just keep going with it? And I feel like that works more as like a more moral dilemma of kind of like, do I keep going with this because it makes other people happy, which is what I'm known for, or am I going to be selfish and be like, this isn't making me happy, I don't want to do this anymore? And I'd figure out a good way to wrap it up. That was one of my bigger ones I wanted to do. It has to be one of your favorite episodes yet, Fiery. I liked it well enough. I do like the students, but it just kind of, it was just kind of simple. It was a little too simple for my tastes, and that's not an objective opinion, obviously. But more my favorite episodes this season have been episode 8, Frenemies, with the Legion of Doom, with Cozy Glow, Tyrek, and Chrysalis doing their little Grogar's little mission. Their chemistry was awesome. That's probably my favorite episode so far this season. But yeah, that was my that was probably my biggest one I would have loved to see done, because it seems so easy to do. It's not too over the top. It's not like I want them to go on a huge journey or anything. It's just a nice little character moment. But yeah, do I think that the writers should have explored more backgrounds, secondary cast, aka background 6, before the announcement? Not really. I wasn't too huge with, like, the background ponies. Mostly because, like, I did fall into the round of, like, the background ponies aren't that big of, like, I didn't get that big into them. I'm glad the fans had something to latch onto them, but it's not really the staff's job to be like, we want to appeal to the fans on these kinds of characters that don't have too much meaning to the world. I like that they brought more use for them. I feel that works a lot better, like giving, like, Derpy, or Muffins, as she's always in the show, in the credits. But I like that they gave her more roles as the mail carrier, and showed her more in the world than, like, kind of hiding her in the background. I feel that actually uses her better. Or like when they give, like, flower ponies things with Rose Luck, Daisy, and Lily, giving them stuff. Speaking of which, that episode 11, Starlight's episode with Trixie and when she was the counselor, holy cow, that episode has so many good faces from almost every character in that episode. And I just was reminded of that because Rose Luck's face is so cute in that episode. I wanted to explain what I just did there. So what you saw with this black background, that lets me see if there's any pieces I missed during the erasing, which is what I'm picking up now. You can't see it too well because the resolution's so bad, but it's one of the ways I make sure that the vector is pretty smooth. But anyway, so that's really my thoughts with that kind of thing. The Return of Dazzlings, I didn't actually watch it yet. I know about what people talked about. I haven't actually seen the music video yet. I'm kind of behind on my Equestria Girls shorts. I'm probably like about 3 weeks behind, or 4 weeks, whatever video is before. It's because they were doing shorts on what is it? Spring Breakdown, because they put that into the shorts place, and I've already seen Spring Breakdown because I watched it on live TV, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna not watch shorts anymore. But then when they stopped Spring Breakdown and they brought shorts back, I completely neglected to go back into it. But I've seen people talking about the Dazzlings. Definitely want to take a look at it, but I couldn't tell you. I couldn't give you an answer about how I feel about it yet. Definitely like them. I'm interested to see what they're going to do. Apparently, I heard that they're going to put them in a new special, apparently based on another book, but we'll see. Definitely kind of interesting. The only reason I like the episode so much is because near the end of the episode, with the Yona and Sandbar, they're definitely pretty good. Definitely really not the one I would have pictured they would focus on. Not the two I would think they would focus on. Yona and Sandbar as being like a really good friends like that. Definitely an interesting choice. I'm glad they didn't go with what everyone wants with Gallus and Silverstream. And I guess that leaves Smolder and Ocellus to be close. So, who knows? But, yeah. Most controversial thoughts that barely anyone in the Brony fandom shares. Controversial thoughts? Starlight is awesome. I don't know. That definitely seems to be the most controversial thought I've ever had. Yeah, that part. Yeah. But any other controversial thoughts? I don't really like amending fences. Which I've also tried. I definitely had to say something about that. I did mention that I wanted to do a video on it. I don't want to do a video on it anymore, and that's mostly because of I re-looked at my thoughts, and I just couldn't make a good video for it. Like, it wouldn't come off well because I would be I'd be too biased, and it was a lot more subjective opinion than objective opinion, and I feel that just wouldn't work well with a video. So I wasn't going to say that, but yeah, I don't really like amending fences, and a lot of that does come down with Moondancer. I wasn't really that impressed with Moondancer. Seeing her in episode 5 of season 9, that was cool. I liked her. I liked her showing up there. I wish she actually did more stuff, but it was neat to throw a little like mention to her. At least she's doing well. Has friends with the librarian. Okay, so this is where I actually test out with the Verko thing. You're gonna see him come in. Celestia opens the door, and then he's just gonna slide in a frame real quick, and then he says, "Here's Verko," and it works pretty well. So that was that end gag. But yeah. Who's the real anti-Twilight? Trixie, Sunset, Starlight, or Tempest? Anti-Twilight. That's tough. I guess I guess the closest they would try to do is I'd say Starlight is probably the closest to Twilight's opposite. Mostly because, well, even then, as a villain, I'd say they did it more. They did it more as Twilight's foil, just because really good at magic, but it's so short-sighted and stuff. Even when they first acknowledged each other, it was kind of like in the Cutie map where it was like, how'd you do that spell? I've been studying magic for years. And Twilight's like, I've been studying magic for years as well, and I know blah blah blah. That pretty much would kind of be like, yeah, she's good, but she's better because she knows how to like grab magic immediately. What I'm showing now is this is going to be this is that Sunset short. I know you guys have probably seen it because you're talking about the shorts and all, but I said I'm going to use this short. Sunset's going to be yelling at me, talking about using the word reflection a lot, and I'm just going to replay it over and over again. So in order to do that, what I'm doing now is I'm making a raw rendering of the Sins video. So with this, it's going to, because this isn't actually done, but I need it to render it so that I can see I can grab the pieces of the actual Sins video. So that's why I call it raw. But anyway, yeah, I'd say Starlight is probably the closest anti-Twilight, but that's only as a villain. As a character, I think they really deviated from Twilight like pretty well. A good thing, I mean, maybe you could even say it is more kind of anti-Twilight because her little group of friends that she made are completely opposite of Twilight's main six. Like, they didn't do with Sunset and just give the 7th character another main six to attach themselves with. Starlight's friends are completely different. Trixie's nothing like them. Sunburst is nothing like them. Maud is nothing like them. And I guess now Mudbrier's part of them? I don't know. But he's nothing like them, because Maud and him are about the same thing. So what I'm doing now is, while I'm rendering that raw copy, I'm making the thumbnail. And I make the thumbnail... what I'm going to do with the thumbnail is I've already grabbed this little scene, and then I'm going to do what I did with Verko, and I'm going to cut out Celestia, Sunset, and this soldier. What did he say? What were your original thoughts on the background of Sunset or Starlight before the Cutie remark, or assumptions for what her backstory was? That's a little difficult, mostly because I didn't have too much thought on what her backstory was, because they didn't give us enough. Like, that is something I will agree with people with, is that there wasn't really enough to, and that's why I can't get mad at the backstory too much, is because they didn't give us enough to be like, that makes no sense, that can't be her backstory, because you didn't indulge on the character enough to make a believable backstory any way you shook it. You could have given her anything because of how little there was to her character already, other than she hates cutie marks and she thinks they end friendships, which they did. They touched on. That's what they gave her for a backstory. She hates cutie marks and they think they end friendships because a cutie mark ended hers. Ended her one friendship. Whether that was the best idea, that's up to execution. I don't think the execution was flawless. Definitely some issues with that. But in terms of her backstory, couldn't tell you. Didn't have any expectations for what it could have been. Just because of how little we knew. I wish we could have learned more before we hit the actual backstory. Maybe seen more of her as a villain. But you know what? I feel like that might have worked. That might have worked more in her favor as a good guy, because we don't see, because she wasn't the strongest villain, so turning her into a good guy doesn't make us lose something that we were already gaining by her being a villain. But that's kind of my thing. Have I seen the Mirror Universe comic, and what are my thoughts on it? I have not seen the Mirror Universe comic. I haven't seen too many comics. The only comics I've ever read, and this is actually from my friend giving me them, I read the entire... Okay, so what... Hold on, I want to stop right there. What just happened is the raw video already finished loading, and I was pretty actually surprised with that in the actual stream, because this just shows how well my computer goes, because normally it would take about 20 minutes for me to render like a 4-minute video. That took, you can count it on the stream of how long that took. That took about, I think, 4 minutes to render the 4-minute video. So I was actually really impressed. But anyway, back to what the actual question was. I have not read the Mirror Universe comics. The only comics I've read is Ponyville Mysteries, the 5-part Cutie Mark Crusader mystery comics. Definitely more for a younger audience, but I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them very much. So those are the only ones I've really read. I haven't read any of the other. I read what was it? Whatever one caused a huge disruption for people against Starlight. What was it? It was whatever one... There was one that had showed, like, Discord getting, like, a good version of himself, and then they thrust Starlight into, like, the voice of reason, and then they, like... They pretty much, like... They did what they did with Shadowplay, but they did it worse, because at least with Shadowplay, the reason she's the voice of reason is because the other characters had their reasons for why they were so invested in everyone else. With this, they just completely just like threw them. They're brainwashed. They can't help you. You have to do it yourself. And yeah, I can absolutely understand how that could be annoying. But yeah. Have I ever seen? Okay, same thing. Oh, you redacted the comment. Okay, but yeah, so those are the only two comics I've seen, and I just looked at that just to see what people were saying, because I could see where Starlight was used worse. Because like I said, when I'm a fan of something, I don't oppose myself to the opposite opinion. So what you're watching now is you can see some of the editing of the video. You'll see some of the stuff that came in. But yeah, in general, I don't oppose myself to the opposite opinion. I like seeking out people that have things to say against the things I like and stuff like that. It also helps to reinforce my opinion of stuff. I used to watch a lot of people that had things against it. Don't now, but that's for personal reasons. But I will, like, I'll seek out forums, I'll seek out reviews of stuff of, like, I'm trying to look at, see what people say is opposite, and see if what they're saying, makes sense and all that. So, it's definitely fun. Starlight's probably, I mentioned this with Diamond TR of why I chose her to analyze. Starlight is probably a bigger thing. She's probably the biggest reason why I have to say, with everything everyone said against her, this character is probably the hugest reason I'm so invested in the fandom, as just characters in general. Seeing how she was used properly and improperly, it was just so much fun to just analyze this character. Like, I could write a dissertation on this character just because of how invested I was in this character. And it's not because I loved her. It's not because I think she's the best character ever. It's because she's just so interesting to study and stuff. And you can see that a lot with that stuff. I heard everyone say that Sunset could have just been a mean girl that was friends with the Human Six before the release of Rainbow Rocks. Could have just been a mean girl that was friends with the Human Six before the release of Rainbow Rocks. I don't know if that would have worked. I feel what they did with Sunset was probably the best they should have done with her. Like, keep... I know I've harped on the fact that they took away, like, anything resembling the old Sunset, and I only use that in terms of people comparing her to Starlight, and it's just the fact that they're non-comparable, which is really weird considering I did 2 videos of Starlight versus Sunset, making it sound like I'm trying to compare them. It wasn't. It was more just a analysis of both characters contrasting each other. But I definitely feel they did the right thing with Sunset. Even though they did, like, take away everything that was her mean self and just pretty much just made her good, with just maybe a little temper tantrum every once in a while, it's not the worst thing that could have happened. It made her really likable. It made her easy to relate to. You didn't have to worry about, like, feeling weird watching her. They did fine. They gave her the hero's journey and everything. It just wasn't, for me, it's not that interesting because it was just that easy to write her. And that's not a knock on her, but that's why it's so easy to like her, because to write her story is not the hardest thing to come up with. What they did with Starlight is there's so many ways you could have done this, and they did some things right and they did some things wrong because it was just so hard because of how they set things up, how they executed it. They didn't make it easy on themselves, and that's a huge reason why she's so divisive with the execution, and that's a big reason of why I like studying her. Favorite Equestria Girls antagonist? Antagonist wise, I would say it's tough to say who my favorite antagonist is. I guess probably what would more work is who I didn't like, and I'd say the only ones I didn't like were Juniper Montage and what was her name? Vignette. Whatever one was Roller Coaster of Friendship. I didn't like her too much. Everyone else is fine. I really liked them from obviously the Dazzlings, but Gloriosa, Wallflower. That's my dog. Principal. I really actually like Principal Cinch. Going back and rewatching stuff, it was just kind of really interesting just to see how they characterized her. Like, she was mean, but I didn't see her as evil. She wasn't, like, evil. She was just kind of really, really short-sighted with what she did. And, like, she knew how to manipulate. It's, like, the same thing I really liked about Diamond Tiara. She knew how to manipulate. She knew how to get under people's skin, but she wasn't, and she knew how to do it for selfish reasons, but she wasn't doing it because she's a bad person at heart. She just does it because it's going to benefit in the long run, for her side. And I found that kind of interesting. So, yeah, I'd say there's more villains or antagonists I like than I dislike. Two I dislike. The rest are fine. Especially getting to see the Shadow Bolts again in Dance Magic was really cool. I don't remember if they've appeared in the shorts. Maybe they appeared more in the ones where I missed that I haven't seen. But that was getting to see them in the Dance Magic was really nice. Except the fact that they didn't bring back Indigo Zap, which is weird. I remember it's weird because she's voiced by Kelly Sheridan. And I guess because they only had for Starlight? No idea. But, whatever. So, yeah. So, what do I think what do you think could have been done with DT post-Reformation? Oh, so much could have been done with Diamond Tiara post-Reformation. Oh my goodness, so much could have been done. I want to say, well, the first thing I want to say is, I think the biggest reason they didn't do much is I feel her voice actress probably left. Chantal Strand, or Strand, or whatever. Chantal, I'll just call her. I think she probably left, because DT has not had any speaking lines. I was ecstatic when they gave her a speaking line in the Equestria Girls short, that one where Rarity, the Choose Your Own Adventure, where Rarity has a fashion line, and they gave her a speaking line. Oh, I was so happy with that. that was 10 out of 10 short right there. Didn't need anything else. But anyway, I feel that that might be the more studio reason why she didn't get many lines, many more appearances. But if that wasn't the reason, and they could have easily gotten her, what they could have done, I mean, even in this most recent episode with Scootaloo, possibly leaving the CMC. During the CMC Present Appreciation Day, they should have had her come up and say about how she affected them. That would have been amazing. That would have been great because of how she was one, she brought them together, and two, she was the reason they got their cutie marks. So it would have been really nice to get a little bit of voice on that, even just for a couple lines. I would have liked it maybe to have just a couple little background appearances, just maybe like a line here or there. Dog's getting into stuff. I won't go for too much longer, but little background appearances here and there. They did give her some background non-speaking appearances. Like I like the one where like you see her with Twist and Silver Spoon, showing them they kind of got together after being so mean to her on her first appearance. That was kind of nice. Give a little like background story. But, yeah. Most ironic thing about Season 3, despite the fact that originally most disliked season, some of the most iconic episodes, yeah, they definitely had a lot of good good episodes in Season 3. Like, the only bad ones everyone remembers is Spike at Your Service, and some people don't like Just for Sidekicks. But, like, yeah, they had Wonderbolt's Academy, Magic Duel, Crystal Empire, which is a pretty underrated series premiere, and Magical Mystery Cure. That's a huge divisive episode, obviously. Games Ponies Play was good. I like that they did it in parallel to Just for Sidekicks. Kind of wish they did that again. They never did. They kind of did it again, where they did Rarity Takes Manhattan and Brotherhood Social, where but it wasn't exactly parallel. They just said that's why Applejack couldn't go to the Sisterhood Social, is because she went off to go with Rarity on their map mission, and that's really the only thing that connects them. But it would have been kind of interesting to see that happen again. So what I'm doing now for this, like I said, I'm actually going to go the full hour. We're almost done. I'm having fun. I'm just having fun talking. It was really nice. Emily was really, really great with all those questions. Really nice talking about that. Thoughts on Scootaloo's parents and aunts? Her aunts are awesome. They were really nice, really, really adorable. I like the accent of the one. Her parents, see, I liked them, but I understand why a lot of people had issues with them. Some people say they're like very neglectful. They didn't take Scootaloo's thoughts into consideration. They don't really care about her that much. They only care about like looking good. I've heard as a complaint. But for me, I like the characters. I like the characterization. They're really I just like the character. Like I said, I just like the characterization. They're fun. They're fun characters. Main and Snapshot, or I can't remember. It's Main and Snap. It's like because it's Jane Goodall. It's like Main. I think it's Main something all, because it's supposed to be like Jane Goodall, and then Snapshot something. He's like it has to do with the camera. That's all I remember. But yeah, do you think characters like Lightning Dust and Surrey Polymer are capable of reformation, or would they work better as antagonistic characters? Surrey, I don't think Surrey needs to come back at all. She messed up. She probably will, like, if she learns to be good, she'll learn on her own, but I don't think she needs to be, like, reformed. She just was selfish. That's really Surrey's only problem. Lightning Dust, on the other hand, is kind of a different thing, because what they did with the washouts is they showed she likes attention, and she found a good outlet for that attention. She found a good way to get praise for what she's good at. And then the problem is that she is a little self-centered or kind of narrow-minded with that attention. Like, she needs to look good, and she'll do anything to do that right. And I just don't know if you can really reform that kind of thought process. I don't really know if that thought process needs to be reformed. You just kind of have to show her that, like, just keep doing what you're doing. Just don't put other people in danger, really. I don't know if they're going to bring her back. If you haven't seen Jim Miller, Big Jim, he put out because they finished production on season 9 just earlier this week, and he put out a huge thank you letter to everyone. And he said in the thank you letter, like, they tried to wrap up as many backstories and stuff as possible. Speaking of backstories, the only backstory I want to know how Starlight got her cutie mark. Seriously, we need to learn that. For a pony that hated cutie marks so much, how did she get it? But that's the only backstory I care about. So anyway, I just realized I've been working on a video for 13 hours and most of me was slacking off or being lazy. Yep, I've done that before. If I'm looking up images, I'll start looking up images and then I'll just get, like, distracted by looking up images that I need for a video, and I'll spend, like, a complete hour just looking at pictures and stuff and not even focusing on making the video. Or I'll, like, pretty much what I'm doing here is I'll just get really meticulous with my editing and stuff, and I'll just spend so much time on doing it, and it's just crazy. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the antagonistic reformation possibility. If it happens, that's fine. A lot of people will probably complain about it. A lot of people probably will complain about it. If it doesn't happen, you're not going to appease everyone. I always watch the show for the characters. If the characters are good, I'm going to enjoy it. I don't really... all the story, all the execution, second thing to me. As long as the characters are fun, always are, I enjoy it. So that's pretty much what happens with that. Was I involved with Flash Sentry banter? No, I was not. I did mention this before. Equestria Girls was one of the first things I got into when I first started watching the show, because one of the first things I did, this was back in the summer of 2013, is I turned on the TV, because I only watched I watched an episode before. That was back in December of 2012. I watched Mystery on the Friendship Express and then Canterlot Wedding 1 and 2. Those are my very first things of the show, and I was like, that was kind of interesting. But then I just was like, okay, I'm not gonna. But it's too girly. I'm not supposed to watch this. And then in summer of 2013, I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to watch this again. Let me just see how it is. And so I ended up seeing Just for Sidekicks, Games Ponies Play, and Magical Mystery Cure all in a row. And right after that, Equestria Girls. Equestria Girls was like the 7th thing I ever saw regarding the show. And I thought it was fine. Because I grew up with 3 sisters. And I grew up with so much, like, girly movies. Barbie, Bratz, you name it. All those kinds of things. To actually see something with at least a little, like, consideration in the characterization of the characters, even if it was a cliche high school setting, was so good, was so nice for me. Like, that's all I really cared about watching Equestria Girls, and I'm like, this feels like the actual characters, so I wasn't too upset about it. Didn't have too much of a problem with Flash Sentry. I could tell he was just there as the romantic interest. Didn't really go anywhere, I wasn't as attached to Twilight as most people were. Like I said, it was only the 7th thing I ever watched, and I didn't get into the actual fandom, like with the fan stuff, until the end of season 4. Because when I officially started watching the show, that was middle of season 4. The first thing I watched was It Ain't Easy Being Breezy and Some Pony to Watch Over Me. Because that was when I came back from... I was on spring break in college, freshman year in college, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch this show again. I watched it twice. I think I'm actually going to watch this show. So I turned it on, and that was the newest thing that came on, I guess because they were in the middle of airing season 4. And that's when and then when season 4 ended, I got into actually, like, looking up stuff for the fandom. I got into Little Shy, and with him, and, like, him doing the Cinema Sins, I'm like, oh man, I can't watch these Sins videos on episodes I haven't seen yet. So I went back and rewatched all the episodes so I could watch his Sins videos. And then I just got more and more into the fandom stuff. Have you ever felt anxious about thinking of LMP? No. No. A lot of people at my work know I watch it. A couple of them have actually visited my YouTube channel. I actually I wrote a paper in college. We were supposed to write a nonfiction story. So I framed a nonfiction story about a fake interview with just a random I created a scenario where I am being interviewed by a person. I made a fake interview, but I made them interview me about my interest in this show. I was completely fine with letting my entire class of 30 people know that I watch My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. And that's just because it might just be my age. I mean, I was 21 around that time, and I wasn't caring about what people thought about watching that kind of stuff. And the funny thing is, when my dad learned about it, because everyone always talks about do you always worry about your parents learning about that stuff? When my dad learned I did these kind of videos, the first thing he asked me is so you can edit videos now? Can you edit something for me? And that's all it was. He didn't care what the content was. He just cared the fact that I could barely edit videos now, and he does rely on me to do a bunch of it. He'll call me up and be and try to send me stuff to edit. I'll have to teach him. I teach him some stuff in Photoshop and stuff a couple of times. But yeah, that's definitely. I haven't felt the most anxious about it. But it's not the worst. It's not the worst thing, and I understand a lot of people feeling anxious about thinking that kind of thing. In public and stuff like that, but I've had a good run with it. I have very open-minded to that kind of thing, and also understand how other people think about it. And I've probably just gotten lucky with who I've interacted with. So like I said, I'm making the thumbnail. I cut out Celestia the Guard and Sunset, and this is me making the title. But yeah. So yeah, we're almost done. Where I finished, let me see. Got about. Well, this is a little more live because the stream is actually going to where we are now. If I go to live, but yeah, we're almost caught up to where I was, and then I'm like, oh great, I was recording, not streaming. So yeah, it's kind of stupid. People originally complaining about Sombra's palette color upon its announcement. Oh, the fact that it's really edgy, really edgy palette color. Like I said, I wasn't around for season 3, so I don't know how people were. I haven't seen that kind of thing. But I can understand what people meant by that. But yeah, it's you're gonna find dumb things in the long run. People are gonna find people complaining about Flurry Heart dumb soon enough. I kind of hope people will complain about Starlight dumb, but you know what? There have been mistakes in her execution, so I can't say they've been entirely wrong. Just maybe not completely ruin the show wrong. But what are you gonna do? But people have been talking about oh, it's dumb to complain about Alicorn Twilight and all that stuff, so things happen. So what I'm trying to do is, because I cut out Celestia and Sunset, I can put the everything wrong with behind them, because that's how I like to do it with the words everything wrong with. I like to put them behind the pieces, but I didn't want to put it too much behind Celestia just because I feel it's completely blocking her. So what I ended up doing is, I'm just going to skip ahead for a little bit. I put it, there we go. I put it kind of overlapping, and then the G is under behind Sunset. So yeah. Worst conspiracies by the fandom? Oh, jeez, I have no idea. It's been so long since I've actually looked at conspiracies and stuff. Well, I mean, technically conspiracy, probably my worst conspiracy is that I feel is Starlight was created because of Sunset's, Starlight was reformed and put into the cast because of Sunset's popularity. It's such a conspiracy theory because you can line up exactly when that kind of stuff happened. If you like me to talk about that, I kind of want to do a video on it, but I can definitely do a little bit of talk about that now. If you go back and look at the production time of each of the things, the way stuff works, Rainbow Rocks aired when season 5 was already done being written. Because if you look back at the production time, Jim Miller has a tweet back in November of 2014, which is 2 months after Rainbow Rocks aired, where everyone loves Sunset. He has a tweet talking about production, and he gives a screenshot of season 6's premiere. Season 6's premiere was already being written 2 months after Rainbow Rocks aired. So if season 6 premiere was already being written then, season 5 was already done. Like, the voice actresses already recorded all their lines, because they record their lines like immediately after they done writing. They record all their lines at the same time, like they do like an episode a day. So like when they premiered the season 5 like animatic back in the summer of 2014 at the San Diego Comic-Con, they already had all the lines for season 5 done. They just didn't have, obviously, the animation and stuff. That's what takes the longest. But so they already had the season 5 finale written before Rainbow Rocks even aired. So it's literally impossible for them to have put Starlight in the show because Sunset was popular. The only thing I could see is they did it because Equestria Girls has 7 characters. They wanted a 7th character in the main show, but Hasbro's like, no, Sunset's going to stay in Equestria Girls. We're not going to put her in the show. So they're like, okay, let's just give the cast a 7th character. That would be the only thing. But it had nothing to do with Sunset's popularity. Nothing at all. It does not line up at all. So that's probably my biggest conspiracy theory, and I would definitely like to do a thing. Will I be doing a final verdict on Sunset vs. Starlight Saga when Season 9 ends and when Equestria Girls supposedly ends? I might very well. It wouldn't be a final verdict, though, because, like I said, I don't want to compare them anymore. I just want to analyze them more. So, like I said, hopefully Starlight ends the season well. Her previous episode this season was really good. I liked it. And Sunset's been doing fine. She needs a lot more meaty appearances. She was okay in Spring Breakdown. I did have a little bit of an issue, but if I ever do a video, I'll talk about that. And I know there's another special coming, which may or may not be the last one, so hopefully she'll get a little bit more. I kind of hope she's not the main focus, because she's been the main focus for a lot of stuff. So I hope they kind of give the focus to other characters some more. But, we'll see. I mean, the Equestria Girls was created for Sunset. She was the villain for the first movie. She got into the cast in the second movie, and then she became the leader in all the rest of the movies, just leading them through all their ways. So I can't really fault it for Sunset being a huge part of the scene, but I just feel it doesn't work the best. So yeah, you can see I looked at it, so I'll pause it there, because then I figured out I didn't actually record it. This is the preview with the thing, and you can see I only have 2 viewers, and I'm like, what is going on? Why isn't anything working? And then I'm like, I was recording. So, whatever. But that's pretty much it. And so I won't go too much longer. I'll answer a couple more questions, and then I'll end the stream, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll have the video put up, and we'll do a little gaming stream. I said in the recording, I might have said earlier, but the gaming stream I want to do is my very first game I ever played. That's your only hint for what I'm going to play tomorrow. The thumbnail will give you a little more of a hint, but hopefully it'll be fun. I probably won't beat it, obviously, but if people enjoy it, I might do more gaming streams later. Maybe once a week kind of thing, but we'll see. And let's see. So, is there anything? Was there any ever background character you'd like to see put into the forefront? Who would it be? Minuet. I really liked Minuet's appearance in Amending Fences. It's one of the things I liked about Amending Fences was Minuet's appearance. I really would have wished she could have gotten a little bit more, just another like appearance to maybe do something with the characters or something like that. But other than that, wasn't too big of a deal with the background characters. I liked Flitter's design. I probably, because I've shown this in different things, I used to say Flitter was my favorite background character. That's just because I really liked her design and I liked her voice. But she doesn't need to be like the forefront. She's my favorite background character because she is a background character. She doesn't need to be in the forefront. But if it could be anyone, I would want Minuet, because she was such a fun, bouncy character that they gave her in Amending Fences. It was sad to see it wasn't used at all. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for sitting with me, just talking over a recording of my stream. And until then, I appreciate the support everyone gave. Thank you, Emily, for all the questions. It was really nice to have something to talk about. And until then, I will see you guys later. Have a good night.